people turned up at Croke Park, Dublin on All-Ireland Hurling Day 1958 and were first treated to a brilliant display of hurling by the boys of Limerick and Galway in the minor final. Here Gardiner points a 21-yard free to leave the Westerners happy with their interval lead of 5 points. But the Limerick lads were far from beaten and were determined to secure their second minor title and, in the process, prevent Galway from getting there first. They bombarded the Galway goal from the start of the second half, and Hartnett, Cobb and Sexton fought with enthusiasm against a fine Galway rearguard. Kelleher shoots in. He gets it back. Then Cobb gives a hand. He crosses the goal, eventually gets it on his stick, sends it out to Hayes, but Robinson clears for Galway. However, Hartnett is there to put the Shannonsiders attacking again, and here Murphy scores a goal to leave his team only 3 points behind. A few moments later, they were level with this goal by full forward Hayes. Then Limerick went ahead, and it was Galway's turn to equalise with a neat point by Stanley. But this snap goal by Limerick's Sexton was the turning point, although Galway fought back valiantly in the closing minutes, and the issue was in doubt to the end. And Galway had the last word with this point by Gardiner from a 21-yard free. Moilem Shiv a Wukali Limni, August Arnoy a Wukali Nagalia Depression. The Artane Boys Band stand to attention awaiting the arrival of Uachtaráin na Héireann, who was greeted by Most Reverend Dr. Canaan, Archbishop of Cashel. Then the traditional parade of the teams. Nearest to the camera are Tipperary, led by Tony Wall, while Cullinan heads the Galway contingent. Agus an son, Chonadar Galair, Auron and Navíl. GAA President Dr. Stewart starts the game, and soon Jim Fives is called on to clear for Galway. Kelly tries a shot, which is blocked down. Then it comes out to centre-half forward Young, and he has a goal. But O'Neill stands firm, and Duggan sends the Tipperary men attacking. And here, from a centre by Donny Nealon, Larry Keane crashes home the first goal. And Tipperary keep up the pressure, but this shot by full forward Devaney went wide. Another goal from a Tony Wall 70 gave Tipperary a great start. But down at the far end, Galway were not idle, and the Tipperary defenders were sorely tested as Galway fought back until they were only 4 points behind. Tipperary accepted the challenge quickly, and after Donny Nealon hit the post, Liam Connolly got the ball in the far wing and made no mistake. Here, Lally tries to clear, but Nealon comes in to contest the issue. With a little assistance from Benson, Lally wins the tussle. He rises the ball, but muffs his shot, which goes to John Doyle. And now Packy Burke has to follow the ball out to the Cusick stand sideline before he is satisfied that this attack is repulsed. The Galway forwards were still giving the Tipperary defence plenty to do. But men like veteran John Doyle provided an almost insurmountable barrier. Larkin tries a shot at the Canal goal, which is cleared off the end line. But he gets it back again and increases Tipperary's total to 3 goals and 4 points. Let's have some more, says Jimmy Doyle, as he sends in to Nealon, who shoots Tipperary's 4th goal to give them a commanding lead. Kelly of Galway sends out to Lawless. Lawless shoots in, but Spillane saves in the goal mouth. Galway come back again, and now Sweeney has a try. This time, goalkeeper O'Grady blocks the way. And so the story continued, with Galway able to make little impression on a defence which triumphed over both Cork and Waterford in the Munster Championship. And it's John Doyle again. It goes to Kelly, and he tries his luck. And here comes Joe Young, and Kieran Carey clears his lines. And the interval comes with Tipperary leading by 4 goals and 4 points to 1 goal and 3 points. We winter Hibridaran e Gimmert Kahunta Kamadakasar of the Baro Yakad Iad Aharu. Referee Matt Spain threw in the ball at the start of the second half. It was obvious that Galway would have to improve immediately if they were to have any chance of overtaking the Munster champions. And although Tipperary took up the offensive again in the early stages, there was an indication of a Western comeback for a while, and Jim Fives got the first score of the second half from this free. And Galway continued to press. And despite the best efforts of John Doyle, first Sweeney, then full forward O'Neill, and then Lawless force their way through. But Jimmy Finn gets the ball downfield again to set another Munster attack in motion. This one went wide. But soon it was a case of as you were, and Jimmy Doyle shoots this Tipperary point, which left the score at 4 goals and 5 points to 1 goal and 4 points after 6 minutes of the second half. This temporary reverse only encouraged the Connacht men to greater efforts, and with Benson in goal and Sweeney outfield, a distinct improvement was noticed. Here Benson makes one of his many fine clearances which kept the Galway goal intact in the second half. Kelly's shot is charged down by Tony Wall and cleared to midfield. Out there, ex-goalkeeper Sweeney collects the ball and puts it back into the danger zone, but again the Tipperary defence stands firm and the play reverts once more to the railway end. However, a wide was the only result of this next Tipperary attack. Every ball was hotly contested, and Galway were matching the Tipperary men stroke for stroke. But everyone was keenly aware that this was not enough. There was still a half-time leeway of 10 points to be made up. And even if Benson was performing admirably in goal, the ball should be at the other end if they were going to get anywhere. And yet it was Tipperary, through this point by Donny Nealon, who increased their interval lead. John Doyle chases Sweeney, and he catches him. Then Doyle clears. But look, here it comes again, and Tony Wall, playing a captain's part, does the necessary clearance on this occasion. Star Galway player Joe Salmon sends to Kelly. Kelly shoots goalwards. O'Grady blocks it down, but Conway goals and arouses hopes of a new Western resurgence. But attack after attack is foiled by the Tipperary rearguard. And although a 70 was awarded here, Jim Fives could make little use of it. Back get to the railway end, Larkin takes a shot. It is pulled down by Benson, but in a flash, Jimmy Doyle is on hand to drive it over the bar and leave the score at Tipperary, Carachul agus Shockbulini, Galyev, Garchul agus Carachulini. Yes, the writing was on the wall, and many were leaving the ground at this stage. The play still flowed from end to end, but despite the enthusiasm shown by the players, the spectators were obviously satisfied that the game had been won and lost. Nevertheless, following the example of their miners, the Galway men had the last word through this point by Kelly. And so the match was over, and the thousands of followers who had travelled from Munster, confident of a Tipperary victory, invaded the field to congratulate their heroes. Everyone acknowledged that the best team won. All recognised, too, that Galway, under the circumstances, had put up a stirring resistance. And the fact that they held Tipperary to even scoring in the second half left at least one talking point, what might have happened if the changes had been made earlier. However, the hurling championships are concluded for 1958 and the cups have gone to Munster. But the performance of the Galway miners suggests that in the near future it may be Galway's turn.